Hi, my name is Ashleigh Hurrell. I am a personal development and employability tutor. Today I am going to be talking about pedagogy and how it is relevant to my role as a teacher. What is pedagogy? Pedagogy is defined simply as the method and practice of teaching. It encompasses teaching styles, teaching theory, and feedback and assessment. And I found this definition on Test Editorial 2018. Why do you teach the way you do? When teaching, I always have the learners at the forefront of my planning, delivery, and assessment. I'm always keen to inspire, motivate, and raise aspirations of my learners through my enthusiasm and knowledge. This approach links to PVA 3. So what approaches do you follow? When looking at the categories of pedagogical approaches, I think my styles are most linked to social constructivism and a liberationist approach. I will look more into these theories a bit later on. Why do you follow these strategies? When teaching, I am very learner-centered. My role is to plan and deliver effective learning programs for diverse groups or individuals in a safe and inclusive environment. This links to PS14, but also encompasses my passion for teaching. Husband and Pierce 2012 set out 9 claims for great pedagogy. I have chosen 2 in which I feel most linked to my teaching methods. So what makes a great pedagogy? A range of techniques including whole class and structured group work, guided learning, and individual activity. The social constructivism theory was developed by Lev Vygotsky. He suggested that knowledge and thought is constructed through interaction with family, friends, teachers, and peers. Through social interaction, people would develop an understanding that may have been beyond their previous level of comprehension. Another great style of pedagogy is inclusive and takes the diverse needs of a range of learners as well as matters of student equity into account. A liberationist approach is one where the student voice is placed at the centre and a democracy is put into the classroom. Value is placed on having the teacher as a learner and the class discovering subjects together. How is social constructivism incorporated in my teaching? Allowing the learners to work in smaller groups encourages social learning. Upon reflection, this meets the diverse needs of the learners, supporting PVA 1. Preparing learners to reach out of their comfort zones will support their development outside of school. Using different forms of learning materials supports all learners' needs. I am creative in selecting and adapting strategies to help learners learn, supporting PVA 4. Allowing students some free choice with their learning, giving them a choice of tasks that will support their summative assessment. This allows development towards PS 17. During a lesson, I will often have a number of team building games that the class can participate in. For my planning, this will hit the assessment criteria, but also allow them the opportunity to be advocates of their own learning. We would do a mixture of choosing their own groups and me putting them in groups to allow them to work with other peers. I found this quote: "Students' expressions of values and beliefs, as well as their cognitive styles of learning and relating in the world, are inextricably tied to culture and class, all of which are transmitted through the language or languages spoken within a community." I teach a range of learners with a diverse background, some of which is culture, some of which is poverty related. Allowing learners to have a voice and feel a sense of pride in their work is very important to me. During the lesson, everyone is treated and respected the same. All learners have the opportunity to contribute in lessons, and by my different use of formative assessment methods, I'm able to have all students involved in the lesson. Gravel suggests formative assessment can happen any time during the programme, and you can devise your own activity to check progress. Some of the challenges I face within teaching. Some of the challenges I face. Number 1, learners' behaviour. Number 2, attendance. Number 3, ESOL learners' comprehension. Number 4, resources. Learner behaviour. This is one of the biggest challenges I face. The learners I teach are put in my classes because they are facing some kind of personal challenge. This could be behaviour related, social and emotional related, or because they're at risk of disengaging from education. I work with some of the most challenging learners in schools, so my planning and patience has to be well thought out. Another challenge I face is attendance of my learners. Because of the risk group they fall into, this is the main focus point during lessons. How can we raise their attendance, and what skills and techniques can we develop with them? When learners miss lessons, it's often difficult to follow the solo within the programme. Often learners come in and are at different stages to their peers. When it comes to attendance, I think a lot of my learners have a very fixed mindset on their ability. Dweck suggests people with a fixed mindset believe there is very little they can do to improve. With one group in particular, I have a large group of mixed nationalities, and within those nationalities, I have learners at different levels of comprehending English. This means I often spend most of my lessons explaining and breaking down words rather than being able to deliver the planned lesson. Those learners who then have a better comprehension of English may not feel challenged enough within their learning. With my role, I go into different school establishments, meaning I'm never sure what resources I have available. This makes it difficult to create and follow a clear unit solo. Every school provides a different style of room, resources, and support. This makes it difficult for me to develop as a teacher in regards to PS15 and the ability to promote the benefits of technology. I think the challenges I face are what pushes me to be a better teacher. My learners need me to not give up on them, and that trust we build is something really important. This supports PVA6 in building positive relationships with learners. Now, let's look at ways to develop my teaching. When looking at ways of improving my teaching, I think it can be broken down into 3 main categories: stretch and challenge, behaviour management, and having a structured solo. I think an area I can develop would be my approach with learners in terms of stretch and challenge, looking at adding extension tasks for learners who progress through the lesson quicker. I also think my questioning can be developed. I can do this by looking at the revised theory of Bloom's taxonomy and using more higher order thinking skills when planning learning objectives. When looking at behaviour management, I often wonder if it is something I can be a bit soft on. I don't often challenge learners to the level they may sometimes need to be challenged. I could possibly look at the classical conditioning theory created by Pavlov. Although the theory is quite outdated, the way I could use it in the classroom could be getting the learners to appreciate the relevance of the subject to them. This is often a challenge in learners not understanding why they are working with me on the programme. I could also give them easy tasks to complete and then build up the intensity of the subject. This could manage the frustrations, which could then lead to the challenging behaviour. It's very easy to go off track in lessons with the learners. Being unable to predict certain things, you have to be adaptable to change. Something I can be very forgetful of doing is writing up the learning objectives for the learners to see. This will often more so throw myself off track because I don't have something to refer back to. Using the solo more structurally should allow me to have a clear focus and objective for all my lessons. Organisational CPD, as per the Teaching and Learning Policy, will allow me to continue developing myself as a teacher. Thank you for watching.